strength. Did you guys hear that? Did y'all hear my gurgle? Say yes if you did. And we're just not at that point where I can be that vulnerable with you. So, hello all. My name is Cass. This is Personality Hire. Let's work from home today. Ignore the mysterious man behind me. Let's check the weather. Okay. Because today was not all that bad. I'm going to be entirely blatantly honest. Didn't get out of bed until 12:15. Did I have to be at work at 1? Yes. Did I make it on time? Yes. Okay, but it was just not a day that I felt like getting up and grooving. But it was more or less like 40s and 50s all day. But a little bit after I got to work around like 1ish, our sun started popping out and it really did make a huge difference in the vibe for the day. You know, it got crazy busy at work. People were coming in and out all day. You're lying to me. It's gonna be 70 degrees tomorrow. Oh my god, it's opening day for the Phillies and it's gonna be 70 degrees. It's opening day for the Phillies and it's gonna be 70 degrees. And that nothing has buttered my biscuit the way that news has this week. My biscuit is buttered. I work at my golf club job tomorrow, and that just means I'm about to make money if it's a nice weather day, so I'm happy about it. Anyway, yeah, so it was an iffy day, but looks like tomorrow we're gonna get really nice. I'm gonna go out with my friends. It'll be a good day. Friday it is gonna rain, but low key I'm okay with that because I need to lock in and do homework. And then I work this weekend at the cafe, and it's not looking too bad. Looks like no rain, 40s and 50s, but sun. So I can work with that. I'm okay with that. Not to delay any longer, our media per week is doubled. Kansas Anymore, The Longest Goodbye by Role Model, aka my man, my husband, my man, oh my man. Because that's my man. The way that I feel about Tucker Pillsbury, I feel is very similar to the way my mother felt about Van Halen. The way I feel about Role Model is not only similar to the way my mother felt about Van Halen, it is similar to the way that my grandmother felt about Elvis. That is the pull this man has had on me in my life. Anyway, so I'm going to be focusing on this album review a little bit differently than how I did it last week. Last week I did go song by song, and not that I was upset that I did it that way. I felt like it took away from what I loved about the album as a whole versus going song by song made it feel a little bit forced in my opinions. And not only that, to do the Longest Goodbye edition of Kansas Anymore, it is 17 songs, which I think the album playtime itself is about 55 minutes. It's just shy of an hour. If I wanted to focus on each song, because I love each and every song in this album, I don't think I could only pick a few to look at. If I were to focus on every song in this album, this video would be close to an hour, and I don't have time to do that. And you don't want to sit here for that. So, just to give the album the love that I feel it deserves and to appreciate it in the way I feel it deserves, I'm going to just do it as a whole rather than song by song. And I'm obviously going to talk about specific songs and specific vibes in each of them. But you smell my fart? All right, I know you would. Anyway, okay, so I first listened to Kansas Anymore, the original edition, just regular Kansas Anymore. How many songs was on the original? The original's 13. My lucky number, team. So I first discovered Kansas Anymore. It was the summer of 2024. I had just started working at my record shop job, and we could listen to any music we wanted at all. So I always had like Discover playlists on to like just try and find new music, get more accustomed to like what people were coming and looking for. And Deeply Still in Love with You came on, and I was like, oh, I can get behind this. And then realized that it was a brand new album, started listening to it. Then I found out that it was Emma Chamberlain's ex boyfriend, and I was like, T, I love Emma Chamberlain. Literally from the second I started playing that album, I was playing it like every day, like constantly every day, like it was repeating. And I know for some reason it resonates so specifically. I remember Mrs. by Dominic Fike would always be the first song to come on when the album ended. That's a memory that sticks right here. And like back to the first song that stuck with me out of it, it was Deeply Still in Love with You because it's fun. It's a fun, jumpy song. It is yearning, it is pining, it is lustful, And it's just fast paced and it keeps you going. Like it keeps the vibe going throughout the whole song. It's so fast paced, you feel like you don't catch your breath until the end of the song. And that's what I love about the music video of it too. It's so interchanging. It's nonstop, it's energetic, it's impactful. And I just feel like he really nailed the music video on the head for the vibe of it. And obviously, if he, as the artist, is the one who picked that like theme and direction for the music video, no he's gonna nail it on the head. But as a fan, I adore it. Like it's so fun. Like the fighting bar scene, it's incredible. But yeah, Kansas Anymore as a whole, in my opinion, is very different from his previous release. And wait, hold on, let me be correct on this real quick. So Kansas Anymore is very different from his previous released album, not including all his singles between RX from 2022. And the vibe of RX is like very like I remember I used to love this artist Black Bear in middle school. It feels very Black Bear, very Mac Miller, which obviously makes a lot of sense considering Mac Miller is the artist who kind of like noticed role model and really like got him big and promoted him and helped him in his early career. So that obviously makes a lot of sense. But it's very like in the kindest way to say it, it's like whiny white boy rap. That's the way that I feel about RX. And I am not gonna say that I don't love RX. I love RX. I love that album. Oh, if Jesus Saves, She's My Type. I think that has to be my favorite, or Never Let You Go. That is on a lot of my playlists. I do love RX. However, it is just very, very different. And I feel like he took these few years and he found his niche in the way that he wrote Kansas Anymore, and he nailed it on the head. This whiny, sad, heartbroken East Coast cowboy vibe that is Kansas Anymore. Chef's kiss. I feel like he has found his niche and I feel like he's loving it himself. But I think, let alone from the vibe and the songwriting itself of the album, my favorite thing about this album is the way that it is one of accountability. It is not mopey. It's not this boo-hoo, sad little whiny cowboy album. No, it's I messed up. I didn't savor you, or I didn't value you, and I didn't say sorry, and I didn't fix the things that I said I was going to fix, and that I am the one who let this relationship go. I am the one who let it go to dirt. I am the one who let it go to shit. I needed to work harder and I didn't. And it's also like I know I need help. I know that I'm tearing you down. I know that I was holding you back. I know that I was keeping you from being this most righteous version of yourself. But I am going to let you go and I'm still going to be so deeply in love with you because that's what he was. And you feel it in every lyric, in every moment of this album. It is not the like, screw you, you left me mopey breakup album. It's the I miss you, I messed up. And it's also at the same time, it's not like, oh, I'm begging for you back. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, like, give me another chance. It's, no, I screwed up. No, you deserve better. No, I'm kind of a shitty person. I kind of don't deserve any better. I kind of deserve the grave I dug for myself. This whole album is not even begging for this person back. It's just ballads of admiration, in love, in respect, in value, and knowing I didn't look for all the little details that you had about you. I didn't notice all these little perfect things about you. I didn't notice your gold hoops before. I didn't notice the light in your eyes. I didn't notice how you're a welcome sign home. Like, I didn't treat you as the gem that you were to me. Like, hello? Oh, to be the woman he wrote this album about. Oh, to be. I pray, not that I pray that someone breaks my heart, but I pray that someone breaks my heart and they look back at it in the way that Tucker Pillsbury looked back on his relationship with, I'm going to say it, Emma Chamberlain, and wrote this beautiful album because it is beautiful. It is just so full of love. And at no way is it disrespectful to this previous partner, as I feel like we obviously see in so many breakup albums. It's entirely like it it, it is still wanting to honor the person that she was and the relationship they had together. It's not like a screw you, and I love that. The way I want to describe this album is the way it feels to me is like when you hear a ghost story of, oh, there was this woman and she lost the one that she loved and then she died and she haunts these woods and every night she walks around crying out for him. Like that's how this feels. This feels like a lonely ghost crying out for their former lover and they don't know what to do. That's how this feels to me. But I love it. And aside from how I feel about the album and the music itself, I also love the entire atmosphere of who Role Model became during his Kansas Anymore era. I was so lucky to be able to see him last March. Me and some of my roommates and some of my friends, we got tickets in like I think like November. Like we got them like pre-sale, like counted down, got those tickets immediately. Got them for like $50. By the time we were going to the concert, they were going for like 300 a pop because he had just gotten so big. Literally, I was there at 10 a.m. The concert started at 7. Doors opened at 7. We were there at 10 a.m. We weren't even the first people in line. Some people had been there since 3 a.m. Literally, like, waited all day, camped out, and then they start coming around with $45 fast passes. And I was like, I am not going to pay the same price I paid for my damn ticket to get a fast pass to get in there quicker. But everyone else did. And all of a sudden, I'm in the back of the venue after waiting almost 12 hours. I did almost faint. And I did have to drive us home after. But I survived. And it was such an incredible concert. It was I just want to boast about his performance. He opens the show and off the bat it's just boom. Days on the phone, you know. Um Starts immediately with writing on the wall. From the moment that first guitar chord is struck, it is fun. I am having a ball. I'm already giggling. I don't think I stopped smiling the entire concert. That's a lie. There are some sad songs. But for the most part, like I was just in a good mood there. And not to mention, I was there when Debbie Dawson was opening for him, and I adore her. I fell in love with her. I fell in love with her music. 110% recommend you listen to Debbie Dawson if you were a fan of Role Model and you did not get to see him on tour. Because, oh my God, she knocks it out of the park. Chemistry, oh, she kills it. She was also a very passionate performer. She had the whole like ABBA 70s disco glow to her. She's an angel walking on earth. I would give anything to go see her again. But I just he had a fantastic energy while performing, which I appreciated so much. And it made it so worth it to be there the entire day. And it was such a nice day with my friends and to enjoy that alone and to know that it was this artist bringing us together. One, I loved that fact. But two, it's also just, it was so worth it to be there. I was smiling when he wanted me to be smiling. I was laughing when he wanted me to be laughing. And I was crying when he wanted us to be crying. When he sang The Longest Goodbye, oh my God, I didn't know there were things I was still feeling in my life. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of performance that he brought out. It was the same way when Doomsday played at Lizzie McAlpine. Oh, I didn't know that situations from 4 years ago were still sitting heavy on my soul, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm in extensive therapy and I'm sobbing everything out of my body. That's the way that I felt. I love him. We had made I'm gonna pop a picture up somewhere where but obviously like Role Model's running bit is like, I'm Sabrina Carpenter, I'm Jake Shane, I'm Gracie Abrams, you know? But my friend made big heads of each and every one of his personas. And so we were each just carrying a big head the entire show. We had Gracie Abrams, we had Jake Shane, we had Sabrina Carpenter, we had Chris Jenner. Who else did we have? I made this big old poster, which I'm going to put over here. I made this big old poster and it said St. Laurent Cowboy Denier. That's his whole alter ego online. And the other side, of course, said Come Home, the kids miss you. I don't know if he knows, but together we have a family. Back to the whole point, I fell in love with the way that Role Model performed all in all. Anyway,
How long have you been with her?
Just because I want to try and keep these episodes a little bit shorter so people are more interested perhaps. Moving on to similar content, one of my favorite parts of the episode. So it was easier to find similar content as in albums rather than for my mini playlist, but we will get there. So for similar content, first I want to recommend another artist that I actually saw live in the same like general year that I saw Role Model, but it would be Older and Wiser, specifically Older and Wiser by Lizzie McAlpine. To me, in my head, Older and Wiser and Kansas Anymore, The Longest Goodbye are sister albums, and that's just the way that I put them together in my head. Older is the older sister with anxiety. That's the way that I'm seeing it. They both pin the feeling of an existential mental cycle that a single relationship can do to you. And in Kansas Anymore, that the case is like the looking back and knowing that you're the one who messed up. And in Older and Wiser, it's the looking back and knowing that they were never enough and you are still going to miss them with everything you have. And that's the unfortunate part. That's the scary part, is you know that they're going to haunt you. It's the way that a partner in either atmosphere rewires your brain in some sick and twisted way, and it's so hard to change getting out of that. Um, and obviously, I am inspired by not only Lizzie having a feature in So Far Gone on Kansas Anymore, but also Role Model being a feature in the Pushing It Down and Praying music video for Lizzie, which maybe that's when I started falling in love with them. I don't know. Okay, next album of similar content is Who's the Clown Now by Audrey Hobart. A very different vibe from Older and Wiser. And technically, yes, from Kansas Anymore, but my reasoning is that it is like a foil. It is like a mirrored character of what Kansas Anymore is. And Who's the Clown Now is like the dance in my room in my underwear, using my hairbrush as a microphone. I'm getting ready to go out with my friends. I'm gonna go to the bowling alley and I'm gonna go to the dive bar and I'm gonna play pool and I'm gonna feel pretty. That's what Who's the Clown Now. And I feel that Who's the Clown Now is a vibe that is necessary in order to recover the strife that Kansas Anymore The Longest Goodbye does to a person. I feel like it is a part of the program to recover from it. And like even bouncing back and forth between both albums is so fun. I just really feel like if you liked Kansas Anymore, you were in the same atmosphere to enjoy Audrey Hobart, her vibe, and Who's the Clown Now. Because the artists themselves, Audrey and Tucker, both have such like fun, silly, goofy vibes that I feel like they clash very well. I would love to see a collaboration between the two of them. I feel like it would be more feasible to see Tucker on Audrey's album rather than Audrey fitting into the sad cowboy vibe of Tucker. You get what I'm saying? Every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. Okay, last album in similar content, When We Were Friends by the Backseat Lovers. I noted that specifically it's songs like Pool House, Maple Syrup, and Olivia specifically just nailed on the head with that East Coast mopey sad indie reflection kind of song. It was just a vibe that became so addicting to me after discovering Role Model. Um, it's a much shorter album in reflection to The Longest Goodbye. Let me actually look at that. Again, Kansas Anymore, The Longest Goodbye is 55 minutes. And When We Were Friends is 37 minutes long. Not like crazy bad, not a bad difference. It's not a bad difference in any regard, but just a much easier to swallow kind of album. And I feel like it hits the same nail on the head. And then just another song outside of that album that I recommend that almost gives me a vibe similar to Francis, I think it's the closest feeling for me. Would Francis a little bit. But anyway, I would recommend Pictures from Elevator Days, their EP. Just another one of my favorites personally, but I feel like it feels really similar to the vibe, the East Coast indie vibe. Okay, and into my favorite part of the episode is my mini playlist. So let me pull up my playlist on my desktop so I can look back and forth. This first song was immediate and so easy to put on here and know it was the same vibe. The easiest playlist so far has still been Daisy Jones from the Six, but that's just because that's the vibe of music I listen to anyway. I feel like it's hard to find the same vibe of a specific album in other artists and other songs. But anyway, this song was an immediate addition, and that is To Philly by Del Watergap. This is the same kind of what if reflecting kind of song. To Philly is more so, it's more angry at the person than Role Model's album is. It's more I feel abandoned by you. Like Role Model has the understanding of I know why you abandoned me, and To Philly is why would you do that to me? Why would you still keep doing this to me? Why would you pull me in if you knew where you were gonna end up? It's in the same hand as Kansas Anymore is the I knew that I couldn't change for you, to Philly is I know that you're not going to change for me. As a Philly girl, it is just, it resonates a little bit harder. My next song, this was another pretty easy song to get on this playlist, is Jesus Christ 2005 God Bless America by, I really wanted to say Jesus Christ Superstar, by the 1975. And again, I'm going to say it, I do love the 1975. Unfortunately, I am still going to defend. I didn't say that. But Jesus Christ 2005 is that pining, lustful, I love you kind of song. It's someone that you, in this case, have never been able to call yours. In Kansas Anymore, the case is that I can no longer call them mine. It is the same tone in the vibe. It reminds me a lot of So Far Gone in like the sing-songy way of it. And the vocals in Jesus Christ are so fantastic. I really, really recommend listening to it if you have not before. As I recommend any of these songs, obviously. But it just resonates so heavy with me for some reason. Okay, next song is Earrings by Malcolm Todd, which, fun fact, Malcolm Todd and Audrey Hobart, as I talked about earlier, are actually siblings, if you didn't know. Which I feel like I love listening to their music together just for that reason. But Earrings by Malcolm Todd gives me the same vibe as Slut Era Interlude. It is the same self awareness in the way the whole album has, but in the case of Earrings, this is the one of not self awareness in the way of I fucked up. It's self awareness in the way of I know that I was no more to you than a fulfilled desire and a fulfilled feeling. And Kansas Anymore is more so the accountability of knowing you're the one who messed up. Earrings is the self awareness of knowing I knew that I was getting myself into a situation where it was not right for me. It was not going to be fair for me. I know that I was only being used, but I was happy to be the one to be used. That's what that feels like to me. And that's right that we have like a middle ground between there. And then our next two songs on here, I have Why by Dominic Fike, just because it's the same, like, Dominic Fike in general, it's that same, like, bad boy, jumpy, bumpy kind of vibe that Role Model brings to the table. And I don't know, it's just a fun song, similar vibe, similar feeling I get out of it. And then my last song on the playlist for this week is Caroline by Bristol Maroney. I feel Caroline is such a foil for Frances in the way that Frances and Caroline are both admiration, but Frances is the like watching it from far away and knowing you're never going to have that person back and knowing someone's going to be so lucky to have them. And Caroline is that admiration, but it's encouraging. It's not reminiscing on what was lost, it's looking at this bright, incredible person right in front of you and knowing how good they are and knowing how great they are. Frances is looking onto this such self-assured person, and Caroline is looking at someone who doesn't feel the way that they are perceived, does not feel how incredible they are. And that's what I do love about it too, is that it's again, it's that encouraging atmosphere. Um, Caroline is on their way to becoming Frances, but hopefully they know how to hold on to them. My favorite thing about the separation and the addition of The Longest Goodbye onto the initiality of Kansas Anymore is that is where the original 13 songs on Kansas Anymore, yes, it's that self awareness, it's the accountability, it's the sad mopey cowboy, but the addition of The Longest Goodbye, that is when it turns into the stepping back. It's that end of the breakup process when you start coming into your own and coming into your own head and start to realize what you deserve. And you start to realize I'm not going to do any benefit to myself by staying here and focusing on that person. And it just, the way the album flows through, and not only song by song, but in that separate edition coming so much later to the album, feels so reflective to the process of a breakup. And I love the way that he released it in that way. But that's what I have to say. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed me doing it in a little bit like kind of smaller to chew kind of atmosphere. I would have loved to go into each song for Kansas Anymore, but it is just such a long discography that I don't have the time, and neither do you. Um, but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Kansas Anymore, The Longest Goodbye really is one of my favorite albums. I love Role Model, and I have been eating up Saddle Anymore. I ate up the Somebody Else cover that he did of the 1975, and I am eagerly waiting new content from him, new music from him. I know he's filming a movie right now, but hopefully we get something soon. But I really hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, I would love to hear some feedback. I'd love recommendations on what you want me to look at next. Maybe I'll move away from an album again. But yeah, looks like we can clock out for the day. I will see you next Sunday. Bye.